Hi there, good morning, welcome back here on the show. This is Prime Morning. It's time for us to get into News Flash. Before we do so, let me remind you of those special things we do here on this very channel. If you missed out, I'm sure this weekend you're not going to miss out. And so do well to catch our very own kids doing the amazing stuff when it comes to cooking. We're talking about Big Chef Junior. It started at 5 p.m. This weekend on Sunday. Please do well to catch all the recipes that they've got for you. And if you're a bad cook, like I keep saying, like myself, this is the place you want to be. You can learn a lot and be able to also achieve a lot with that, okay? So, yeah, it's happening. It's begun, and it's 5 p.m. Do not miss out any of those episodes that will be showing you here on Joy Prime TV. And, of course, we'll move on after that at 7:30 p.m. on the same Sunday. We'll bring you what we call the Step Up. And you step up, you win. You step up, you make some money for yourself. You can also sit at your home and step up and make some money for yourself as well. It's pretty simple. Cynthia Stank is making that possible, all right? So that's what it is for every Sunday, what you get to enjoy. These are two amazing programs that we'll bring to you that you don't want to miss out in any way. And George Quay will be there to entertain you. It's very entertaining as well, so you don't have to, worry about what your entertainment on Sundays is going to be like. You've got every reason to actually catch up this Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Even before that, this Friday, we'll bring you what we call on a more serious note. Myself and my partners in fan will be seated. We'll be bringing you laughter. And we'll be bringing you some things that are totally unserious to us, but maybe very serious to you, all right? So 8 o'clock, we're bringing you that at 8 p.m. sharp. We've got so much to talk about this Friday, so much to talk about, from politics to entertainment to social issues to whatever. Loose talk and all that will be coming up this Friday, so do not miss out on that. Pizza Man, Chicken Man is also here, and guess what? In our branches here in Nkrumah and Nkrumah, we've got something special we're giving you. We say that the new year is still here and you need to ensure. No amount of, people you're coming with will actually scare us because we've got deals for you, all right? So make sure you come with the family. Do not come alone to eat and go and all that. Bring the family. Sometimes some of you are a bit scared. You're worried about, how much you're going to spend on the family. Maybe you've got a family of 12, and you're thinking, how do I pay for all of that? We say the new year, we're taking care of you. So do come by any of our branches here in Nkrumah and Nkrumah and enjoy all that we have for you. Pizza Man, Chicken Man, we've got you. It's always flaming hot. You know that already, okay? Make it happen. Now we're running our most photogenic couple for Val's Day, and they say Valentine is coming. Where is your boyfriend? Valentine is coming. This time we're asking, where is your girlfriend? All right. So we're running this, and it's for us to actually put a smile on your face and that of your girlfriend or your boyfriend as well. So it's pretty simple. All you have to do is to just take a picture of yourself. Very beautiful picture, and tell us, share with us that picture and some of the things that comes with that picture. Maybe you've got a story around that picture, why you took it, where you took it, and, just explain to us. Don't explain Taya, by the way. I mean, just a little bit of explanation, with regards to that picture. And post it on our social media page. The pictures must be on our social media page, and the most picture that gets the most engagement will actually be given, some recognition, and then we'll move to the next stage where we get to select who becomes part of it. We invite you. We have a little bit of dialogue, interaction, and all of that, and we are able to actually, decide on who exactly is our most photogenic. Which couple is our most photogenic for the Valentine celebration. Now, it comes with some packages. And so there's a weekend stay treat. There's a spa treatment. There's also a candlelight dinner for 2. There's also souvenirs that we're giving out from our sponsors. And then we also get to share stories on our 12 Days to Valentine TV show. So there's a 12-day to Valentine TV show where you get to share your stories with us, and it's a series that will be running. And I just can't wait for that. I just can't wait for that, moment. And so it's Val's Day, and we're making sure that we celebrate it very well here on Prime Morning and Joy Prime in a whole. So, yeah, be a part of that. Anyway, we're going to be getting into the front page of the newspapers to check out what has been reported, and then we'll get into our major issues. But if you're just joining us right here on the show, we're looking at Malema's statement he made about the Nkrumah's principles and reason that if we depart from it, we'll find ourselves in the woes that we are finding ourselves in. We'll be looking at that. The TUC is giving government an ultimatum to actually rescind the decision to put VAT on electricity. We're going to be looking at that as well, and they've given them 7 days. They've given the government 7 days. We'll look at that here on the show. The Black Stars, the way forward, information reaching us is that Chris Hughton has been fired. We're going to be looking at the way forward here on the show. NDC begins Zongo community mini rallies. We're going to be looking at that conversation also here on the show as well. So just so we even get there, you can send your messages on our social media pages ahead of time. It's Joy Prime TV on Facebook. We're streaming live on real time. You can send your messages. Our WhatsApp console is open as well. You can also drop your messages as well. And you can also do so on social media app X. That's also another place where you can send your messages to us. This morning here on News Flash. Now, let's go to the front page of Daily Graphic. And it says, no, no, no. These aren't our Black Stars. That's on the front page of the Daily Graphic. And it's captured over there. A disappointed fan who's pulled 2 hands on the head. And you can also relate to that scenario, in a couple of days that we'd have to go through the situation that we've gone through in the hands of the Black Stars. Well, that's the only thing you can find on the front page of the Daily Graphic. It tells you the magnitude of, sadness that has been falling this country. On the back page, Chris Hughton in line of fire. And we understand that he's been fired. Salas AFCON Jenny Hanks in balance. That's also on some sports in the Daily Graphic today. Away from that, let's go to the Ghanaian Times. The Ghanaian Times says TUC kicks against 15% VAT electricity, gives government 7-day ultimatum to withdraw it. And Dr. Yaba has been captured over there, the TUC boss. Now, where Conteshi Link Road stalls over non-payment of funds, Piak says so. Ghana, Germany vows to deepen economic cooperation. And Ghana supporters bars vandalized. You may be aware that the CAF has also imposed some sanctions on Ghana for that. I don't know what to call it, at this moment, because I'm extremely careful as much as I support, the actions of the supporters, because sometimes it gets to that point, you can't really blame them that much. I also feel that, it goes against CAF's rules and regulations. And so we've been actually fined $15,000 for the behavior that the fans put up after the Black Stars lost the match against Mozambique. And so, that's some story for you over there, some news for you, by the way. AFCON 2023, Hilton takes responsibility for Stars' poor run. Ghana supporters says bars vandalized, and Choco Boxing Gym gets support from 2 institutions. That's the Ghanaian Times for today. Let's go to Daily Guide. Daily Guide says the EC proposes November for elections. There's too many issues with the EC and elections, but Judgment Day for coup plotters, that's also captured on the front page of the Daily Guide. And one pulled gun on us, witness says so. Constituents highly rate Stephen Amwa, and man kills a 3-week-old baby for rituals. That's also captured on the front page of Daily Guide. Away from that, the back page, Houston's job on the line. Black Stars goalie blames players for woes. The man that we are blaming is also blaming someone. The man who refused to actually do the needful by, punching balls is blaming the players for, our woes. I can only imagine. I'm done with Black Stars, says Daniel Amate, and as Kudus leaves AFCON speechless. Those were moments that were captured after we lost the game. Now, away from that, let's do the middle pages where we've got some entertainment stories. And it says, I supported MPP for free SHS. I want to be a white woman in my next life. And Miss V launches children's book. That's also the Daily Guide this morning. Now, away from that, the Finder says that to be different in a heavily stereotyped media environment. Dr. Otabil, cocoa shortage forces shutdown of cocoa processors, and IMF said 15% inflation for 2024 unrealistic. And that'll be pretty much the newspapers for this morning here on the show. Let me introduce my guest in the studio, and then we'll begin with the very first topic, which will be Julius Malema's statement. And yesterday, Rise Ghana held that dialogue out there. And we'll take a look at some of the things that he's been talking about. In the studio with me this morning is Stallion Nyako. He's a member of the NPP communication team, and he's joining us for the first time here in our new studio as well. Good morning, Stallion. How you doing?
Okay, I'm blessed. It's a beautiful morning. First time here.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Happy New Year.
Many happy returns, Kay.
Great, great. And good to have you on the show. We appreciate your time this morning. Yeah. Good. Adeli bin Sheikh Umar Ibrahim is the National Communication team member for the NDC and also Director of Operations Greater Accra Youth Wing, and he's a family to this family. He's always been here, to speak on national issues, and it's good to have you here, my brother. How are you doing?
Good morning, KMJ. I'm great. Never better.
I like that.
Allow me to welcome Kay to the family. Welcome home.
This is home.
This is home. I like that. This is home.
All right.
Good to have you guys, and thanks for the time.
Thank you.
You spent with us over here on the show. We don't take that for granted. So earlier I told you about the issue of Malema's dialogue. You know, he's in the country for the very first time in a dialogue. The convention was supposed to have brought him. Now, according to our own brother and also a family to this place, Bernard Mona, he actually said that with interactions that he had with him over the period, he believes that he never got an invitation for the convention, according to him. This week, he said that, according to the man, the invitation didn't reach him, and it's the reason he didn't show up for the convention, which was supposed to have happened with the new force. So this is his first dialogue in the country. And yesterday I was there myself. Prior to that, he had some visitations of former presidents and also visited the Nkrumah Mausoleum. And he's been speaking about what it is like for us to actually neglect the principles of Dr. Nkrumah. In his own words, he said that, if you drift away from Nkrumah's principles of state-led development and you prioritize privatization of strategic sectors of the economy, you will never address the issue of unemployment, because the interest of business is to maximize on profit, and every time you privatize something strategic, the first victims of privatization is the workers. And this is him speaking on issues of Nkrumah's principles. Let me get back to the studio, and I'll start off with you're the new The new force.
I'm not
with us this morning. So let me start with you, Stallion.
Okay, it's good to be here. And since it's my first time here, let me say a happy new year to your viewers, and particularly to the people of the Nkrumah West constituency, the entirety of the new patriotic party's support base. We bring you greetings from President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and the leader of our party. The leader of our party, for me, I call him the hope of our country's politics, the hope of our country's youth.
You mean the flag bearer?
The leader of our party, the flag bearer of our party, Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. And for me...
Well, as it is right now, the leader is still the sitting president.
Our party's constitution, the flag bearer of our party is the leader.
Immediately becomes the leader of the... Okay.
Immediately you assume position as party's flag bearer, leader of the party. And we must accord him that dignity. And in his New Year message, he was clear about the hopes for our country. So we wish everybody a happy new year. It's our hope that the good Lord will bless us, bless our nation, and take us through all of our aspirations and ambitions. To your topic, Julius Malema, who I don't want to say he's self-styled, known as the commander-in-chief of the Economic Freedom Fighters, South Africa's Economic Freedom Fighters. If you followed him, you know that he is a maverick, passionate defender about the economic liberties of the downtrodden in society. And I think that's what informs the name of the group he leads, Economic Freedom Fighters.
EFF.
I was surprised. I was surprised seeing him here.
And the reason being what?
The group inviting him, Arise Ghana, largely pro-NDC group.
That's what it is?
Obviously, everybody knows. You see, there's a problem we have in our country here. And I think we, the younger generation, charting the path of politics, candor, sincerity should be a key element among us. You know, Arise Ghana is a pro-NDC group. So yesterday when you saw the function, you could see stalwarts of the NDC there. And I'm sure they had X on their faces. They were really shocked because they were of the view that Malema will come to a setting like this and turn his guns on the government. That's what they were expecting. That was their expectation. To their surprise, he rather made some very, very instructive analysis of our situation. Me, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised Malema will not assume his usual posturing, what he's known for in South African parliament and South African political circles, charging at the government, staging walkouts in parliament and whatnot. Reason being that if you observe our situation on the international space, everybody in the world today agrees that the current situation we have in our country and on the globe has never happened in 100 years. So regardless of whatever your interest is as a group, if you bring a Malema here to come and ostensibly do your bidding of maybe coming to charge at the government, you will be disappointed. Because outside the jurisdictions of our country, people seem to appreciate the great the efforts of this current dispensation, President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia's regime. The giant strides they've made in putting our country on a firm footing for development. People appreciate it a great deal. So yesterday, Malema, I think what will burst their bubble is when he talks about the role of former presidents. And I'm not sure, I hope you've seen that part of his discussion. Yeah, yes, you were there. And then he told us clearly, and I'm sure his stance on that is informed by his visits to the two former presidents, as you rightfully mentioned, that he met with former President John Dramani Mahama and met with former President John Kufuor and visited the Nkrumah Mausoleum. If you've been to all of these three spots, it will not be surprising the stance he took in that famous dialogue. He's seen former President Kufuor, how noble and honorable he's been. He's seen John Mahama, and then went to the Nkrumah Mausoleum. You should see the current state of the Nkrumah Mausoleum. For me, that typifies the strongest indication of anybody's belief in the whole Nkrumah situation. And just as Malema said, the place of former president is not to fight present governments. If you heard him, he was very clear on it, that the place of former president is not to fight current president. You are supposed to receive delegations, do international engagements, sit in retirement. But in the sharp contrast to what is happening in our case, a man who has assumed virtually every single political position in this country. Me, I said for John Dramani Mahama, he's lived off all his life at the benevolence of the state, at the benevolence of politics, at the benevolence of the taxpayer, all of his life. From assemblyman, MP, minister, has seen it all. Gets the opportunity to be president, gives a very shambolic performance, suffers the worst electoral defeat in our history, goes to sit on the sidelines. And after 4 years, just 4 years, he says he wants to come on. I'm not surprised Malema spoke copiously about this, that if you're a former president, you should not be seen trying to ruin at every point the works of another government or those who took over you. Because your place, and he mentioned that we pay you pensions, the state takes care of you. And it's interesting. That's an interesting part of our politics, that for someone like John Dramani Mahama, who every month, every single month, lives off the benevolence of the taxpayer, is paid by the taxpayer by virtue of him being former president. His office staff are all paid by the taxpayer of Ghana. He goes on international trips by dint of a constitutional provision, enjoys all of these benefits. And then you still want to come back and run as president. That is what Malema, and I think it was striking that what would be the rationale? What would be the input of somebody who has been through the mill, gone through every political position before in this country, lost an election woefully? Then instead of assuming the role proper of a former president, you jump on that you want to come and run for the presidency again. Now back to the crux of the issue. Deviating from the principles of Nkrumah. What did Nkrumah represent? Nkrumah represented Pan-Africanism, put up a strong fight against neocolonialism. Okay, I am personally, in this day, in this period, I am particularly careful not to leave these sensitive discussions on the premise of ideological fights. It gives politicians the window, you see, to run away from the real issues.
Yeah.
Because you see, for whatever Nkrumah represented, at the heart of it was economic liberation and the well-being of the ordinary people. At the heart of it. So today, I will not come and say there were people who were pro-Nkrumah, who were anti-Nkrumah, who were pro-overall state involvement, who were anti-overall state involvement. The question we should ask, that after Kwame Nkrumah, the successive governments, the actions we've taken as a state, have we really achieved the import of attaining economic liberation for our people, ensuring sound, decent living for the ordinary persons? That is, for me, the crux of the argument. That between the two loud political opinions, I mean the MPP, NDC, political backgrounds, which of these two political parties have in their actions, not the usual pattern of the NDC, identifying themselves with only when it's for elections. And time and again they've shown that it's only when elections are due that they remember they are the best of friends of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. You see? But when you go into what I earlier mentioned, their actions, policies, programs, you find out, and for me, it's the biggest political irony of the century, that the New Patriotic Party, the Dankwa Buzia tradition, that everybody felt would not want to do anything with an Nkrumah, or based with, according to NDC propaganda over the years, churning out that they hate everything in Nkrumah. When you look holistically and you analyze well, you find out that it is our tradition that has put up the most Nkrumah-like programs since his exit. And what do I mean? Nkrumah believed that there should be a point where every Ghanaian, regardless of your background, regardless of your economic, religious extraction, you can get access to education, free education. So you could, if you recall, he started off free secondary education in the north, which John Dramani Mahama, the man who has mounted the most spirited opposition against this program, is a beneficiary of in the north. Nkrumah started it off, piloted it just for the northern part of the country. It has taken an Akufo-Addo MPP regime to realize this dream. That for me, somebody like me, I was born in Accra, Newtown. From the slums of Accra, Newtown, that was where I was born. I saw clear instances where people who had God-given abilities were denied access to education and opportunities by dint of where you grew from. You get it? When I completed Golden Mission International School, I went to Prempeh College from Accra, Newtown. When I went there, it took the benevolence of a mom who was forceful then. My mates, who were also as brilliant as I was, fell through the cracks, most of them. They could not make it to secondary school. It does not make me the better of them. It does not make me. But the point is, what Nkrumah dreamt of years ago that had been neglected by successive regimes is what an MPP government has realized. That today, like my case, when I completed basic education, my peers, because they were not as lucky as I was, would not get the opportunity to pursue secondary education, will fall through the cracks. Today, every single Ghanaian child, no matter who gave birth to you, regardless of your tribe, creed, sect, will get access to secondary education. That is Nkrumah's dream. That was Nkrumah. That's what he believed in. Again, Nkrumah spoke copiously about industrialization, creating industries. There is no single program that has tried to put Ghana on that pedestal than the 1D1F program, One District, One Factory program, initiated by President Akufo-Addo and the MPP. And today, in excess of 100 factories have been constructed. When we were children, the famous Aztec, you could hear refresh. We're talking about refresh when we were going to basic school. Oh, I have my in Sawam, the factory there in Sawem has been revived under the 1D, 1F. A Kumfi factory, the pizza making, so many of them. Shoe production factories, garment production factory. That was Nkrumah's dream. Ironically, the political tradition that says we are in Nkrumah were the ones in our history, the divestiture implementation program under an NDC arrangement that collapsed all state institutions that had been put up by Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. If you listen to Malema yesterday, Malema, and like I said, I am very careful.
Wrapping up for me.
I am very careful not to leave this discussion at ideological battles. It is a very safe haven for you to run away from the issues. You understand? Malema made an instructive point that he believes state control should be encouraged. State control should be encouraged because he believes it's the best way to devoid of corruption. If there is any government that has made effort at realizing that, it's the President Akufo-Addo and the MPP regime, and ensuring that all of these factories stay in. And ironically, it is an NDC group that is bastardizing and condemning us for engaging in a lot of engagements in the public sector. You remember John Mahama went to UPSC and said President Akufo-Addo has engaged in unbridled recruitment into the public sector. I don't know if you've heard, you heard that comment. For me, it speaks to the evidence that no regime under the Fourth Republic has engaged more of Ghana's youth in public sector, has recruited them into public sector organizations than President Akufo-Addo. Nurses, teachers, immigration service. Before 2017, the staff strength of the Ghana Immigration Service was 2,400. 2,400 people were in the immigration service before President Akufo-Addo became president. Today, as I speak, the immigration service is running in excess of what? 17,000, 16,000 over, 17,000, 16,000. In 6 years, one regime has moved a state security apparatus strength from a paltry 2,000 to what? 16, 17,000. It tells you that whatever Malema came to speak to, that there should be active state involvement in recruiting young people into jobs, is already in force. We have done it. The people who claim they identify with Nkrumah's vision are rather the ones resisting and opposing it. Okay. So it tells you that I'm not surprised that Malema, after everything he said, will remind John Dramani Mahama. That's it. You've had enough. You've bitten the sherry enough. You've had your bite of the sherry. Please stay in your retirement. Receive guests. Go on international missions because it's absurd. It's befuddling. You cannot even wrap your head around.
All right.
That for somebody who've had all of these experience, all of these benefits, will still want to come back and run for president.
Very well, Stallion. Adele.
PNJ. Let me say a good warning to you once more and to Kay. And I have listened to him and I've listened to the difficulty with which he tries to turn things around, turn the tables around. I would like to say that yesterday's program was one of the most beautiful programs I've seen for quite some time now in the country. I would appreciate if your producers can find the voice of Malema and play on when he indicated that this current government has failed on corruption and has failed to put this country on any kind of emancipation. I would appreciate if the producers can find that video and just play it for the viewers to just watch it while I do my presentation. KMJ, listen. Let me take you...
Can we... I understand they have the video, so let's take a look at that video right now. Please help me. Let's get that video.
Everywhere in the corner of the world, because those are the people who have been robbed of their humankind. We also know that this country is the one that leads with successful succession which are peaceful. Of course, it experienced a bit of difficulty at some point, but since then, Ghana became the most celebrated democracy. But the democracy of Ghana is threatened by corruption. A corruption that made sure that Ghana does not pay its international debt. As a result, today, Ghana is unable to self-determine because everything else is dictated to Ghana by IMF and the World Bank because the current leadership failed to honor their obligation. Corruption is a threat to a wonderful democracy anyway, because it's eating on the moral fiber of democratic dispensation. We must never ever celebrate anyone who is corrupt.
All right, so that was Malema yesterday at the Arise Ghana Dialogue. These were amongst a couple of other things that he spoke about.
KMJ, and he said it categorically. This government has failed.
He did not say
Please.
that. He did not say that. You heard him.
Please.
You called, you asked for a video to be played. You heard the video. He did not say that. Is he?
No,
okay, you finish. You finish. You heard the video. I'm surprised.
You see that.
You heard the video, and you have, and that's very typical of him.
You can see that.
It's okay. You finish.
He was very quiet.
He did not say that. He did not say that. You finish. He did not say that. Finish.
KMJ. Everybody else that is at home is watching and listening.
Yeah.
Since this government has failed, and it's categorical on corruption, they have failed. It's a mess, and you cannot pay your debts. There has never been any point in time in this country, in the history of this country, when we had actually failed in paying our international debts. John Dramani Mahama, John Dramani Mahama in power. With all the mess we found ourselves in between 2013 to 2016, going through doom, saw no money, taxes were not flowing, we did not fail in paying our international debts. This is the first. After 1.2 trillion, 1.4 trillion, you're still sitting here and shouting. You're shouting.
Blatant lie.
KMJ, let me take you back a little bit. You see, these are half-brothers, I keep telling you. They are vindictive. And look, excuse my language, it almost feels as though they are wicked people. And I'll tell you why. He talks about Nkrumah, and he sits here and comfortably talks about it, and Nkrumah, blah, 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 blah. Your tradition brought Nkrumah. Come help us. Let's get what is called independence. The man comes and says, we want the independence now. You say no. Your people, the local people, Ghanaians, are not ready for independence. Sabi, they are not wise and intelligent enough to have independence. To an extent that the man says, okay, you know what? I don't believe in what you believe in. I want it now, and it can be done. So I'm parting ways. The man parts ways. You sat in this country, sent an envoy all the way to the UK to go and tell the Queen that this man Nkrumah, who is asking for independence now, is going to create problems. Stop him. This is the kind of people you are. This is who you are. Your own sibling, tied, chained behind his back. Someone is fighting for his survival. Someone is fighting to take out the chain. You say, leave the chain. He's not ready to be released. And then you come and sit here and say what? What are you saying? What are you even saying? You attempted to kill the man. How many times? Not less than once. You tried to kill him, not more than once. When you failed, what did you do? You overthrew him. When you overthrew him, what did you do? You burnt his books. Books, KMG. Books people could have read, learned lessons. And we're telling you that when they say that you have departed from what it is that was started, you orchestrated that. You made sure it happened. And when you took over the reins of this country, what did you do? What does the statue which has been made by Nkrumah, what does breaking it, what does it do? What does it do? Burning stuff, caskets. What did it do? What did you create? You sit here and then you talk, they talk to us as though we don't have reason, like we can't think, we can't recognize. Malema said something categorical. Under the NDC, when they came and said, we're going to do you what is called one district, one factory. Under the NDC, we did something, especially I can talk about what we did with the pharmaceutical industries. What you did has been done before. They should show us the factories that they have built. He says, listen, state-led development. The man says state-led development and stay away from privatization. This is what the man said. And it's categorical. When we had the opportunity to build, we were building and maintaining it for the state. When you decided to build factories, you said, let's do it private. You find a private entity, you go give them something. You find a private entity, you go give them some small money, say, set up. Their interest, according to Malema, like he rightly said, is what? It's maximizing profit. That's their interest. When we build at Wabo, we say employ the people of Ghana. When the Elmina fish processing is being put up, we say employ the people of Ghana. It is for the state. When you do the expansion of Tema Port, it is for the people of Ghana. This is what it is. The Kumasi Shoe Factory is for the people of Ghana. Create the KJT market, it is for the people of Ghana. This is what we say. And even when you have an opportunity to privatize, KMJ, even when they are given the opportunity to privatize, they say, okay, we want to privatize. The people of Ghana say, no problem, let's give you an opportunity to privatize. Even in privatization, they do you ill. They do you evil. They do you wicked. A typical example is what you call the PDS, where a whole thing was sent to Parliament. The Parliament of Ghana, including MPP, NDC, comes to a conclusion. Let there be something called condition precedent. Condition precedent 24 and condition precedent 31 says that the company which is taking over the assets of ECG, worth 20 billion, should make sure that they give us a bank guarantee of $350 million. That is one. They needed to do that. You have a government who sits down with the same person he sits here and eulogizes. The vice president sits in a committee meeting, and the vice president single-handedly decides, not going to Parliament, to change condition precedent to condition precedent. Okay, what? Subsequent. This is who we were. Change a condition precedent to a condition subsequent. He says, yes, it's okay. They can bring the bank guarantee. However, they can bring it later. We'll give them the 20 billion assets of ECG. They can do whatever they want to do with it. And then later they can bring us. They can bring to us those conditions. When Parliament says it has to be precedent, why? Because if I want to give you my assets, I want to make sure that when it gets worse, I can get my money back. And that is the reason why, after they did what they did, 200 million Ghana cedis worth of ECG monies that were collected that went to PDS, they've not been able to retrieve it. You sit here and you say what? So even in privatization, they do you wicked. They find ways to make monies into their pockets. These people have gathered nothing less than $150 million. We will take it from the elections. We will take it from them. We will take the monies from them and we won't give it to them. We will show them what we did in Nasin North. The people will take the 200s. We will take the thousands. We will take the 2000s because the monies belong to us in any case. So they should get ready. Malema made a categorical statement. He has indicated it. It was beautiful. We love the things that he said. And if there's anybody who should put their heads down in shame, it should be the MPP. Because for the first time in the history of this country, we have failed, at least in the Fourth Republic, we have failed in paying our international debts. Apart from HIPIC.
Very well. Thanks, Adele. You can also send your messages to us. Let us know what you think. Your opinions and contributions very much welcome here on the show. WhatsApp console is open. So in a couple of minutes, I'll be reading some of the messages you've sent to us, and we'll get to find out what you think about our conversation here. We're going to be moving on to our next topic to find out what you see, and the VAT situation on electricity looks like. So for those of you out there who've been following, a couple of weeks ago, we brought it to your notice that there's going to be a VAT on electricity, and I'm sure most of you were wondering what exactly it's all about, and we're waiting for some clarity and all of that. But the Trade Union Congress has come out to issue a 7-day ultimatum to the government, and it's demanding that they withdraw that 15% VAT that they intend to put on electricity, and we're talking about the lifeline threshold. And so basically that's what we're looking at. The boss, Dr. Ba, has been speaking on that issue as well. Stallion.
Okay, let me react to.
No, but you have to be very quick. We have about three other issues
let
to talk
me
about,
react
so
to
you don't have to take
a few very erroneous impressions and very typical of them. You play the video. For me, Kay, I told you, when I sit here and I sit on these platforms, I never lose sight of the real issues.
What's your real issue with the video? Because we
all watched nowhere did Malema say
he said, unfortunately,
this
government. Maybe you didn't.
Play your video.
No, I'll let them get that part for us to play.
No, but I'm talking about what he played.
No, Stallion.
You see, for me, let me tell you, I am stubborn to a fault when it comes to some of these
Relax.
things. These antics.
Everybody watched
We all watched a video.
And I'm saying there was a point he said, unfortunately, this government, he made reference to the government.
What does
on
the government
corruption.
He said corruption is threatening our democracy. Democracy did not start under President Akufo-Addo.
So you never at any point...
He wants to talk about corruption. He wants to talk about NDC. John Dramani Mahama appendage. Talking about corruption. Okay, please. The whole of our IMF facility in 2015 was 918 million. 918 million. He signed on a contract on interoperability for 1.2 billion. You cede the sovereignty of our country for 918 million to the IMF. And then months after, you sign a 1.2 billion mobile money interoperability contract. What have you done?
The NPP had...
want to talk about corruption.
The NPP had every right to...
We did.
To prosecute...
We did.
Who were part of it.
Wait. Before you prosecute, you must gather evidence.
So you're still gathering evidence?
No.
After 8 years?
What you have to do is you save cost first. You see, you do that.
How are you saving the cost? If you think that the person has done the wrong thing and you want to justify it, you have
we halted that transaction.
Kisei Jabe there.
Wait.
That you could support in any case.
Kisei Jabe is a Latter-day Saint. He just came on.
It's not the president that put him there.
No, recently. He came on recently. I'm coming.
So what's the big deal?
Mobile money interoperability predates Kisei Jabe's coming.
No, it doesn't change anything from him investigating.
Wait, you are not allowing me to speak. You want to join him?
No, I'm just asking questions.
Allow me.
Because you said that, they have done this, and they were all bad. You could have prosecuted them, investigated.
You don't always prosecute. Okay, sometimes you know what you do. If you have an opportunity to remedy the defects, like we did, in the case of the mobile money interoperability, 1.2 billion contracts on mobile money, which was done by Dr. Bawumia with a paltry 4 million. Compare. You were paying 1.2 billion. Funds. So what we do, we reversed the transaction. They went to court. The irony, they went to court.
Didn't you have taken them on in the first place?
If you see,
for engaging in something that you felt was financial loss to the state?
When it is not consummated, you see, you get it. You are a people. That's why most cases go to court and then they fail.
Yes, but I'm saying
that in court, you put out evidence.
Yep.
If it has not been done, if the act has not been done, it is in the process of being initiated, and then you take over the reins of governance, and you have an opportunity to stop.
Which I understand.
That is what we did.
So you don't make a big deal out of it then?
We did it. We did what is most important, prudent. Stop the transaction. Save the taxpayer money. But the point I'm making, that people who executed this arrangement can never be the people to be pontificating on matters of corruption. Hell no. You do not cede your country to IMF for 918 million. And sign contracts worth 1.2 billion afterwards, and have the nerve to come sit here, look in people's eyes and talk about corruption. John Dramani Mahama's record on corruption stinks to a fault. He was the leader who appointed an advisor on corruption, Batidam. And he was corrupt to the extent that he had to appoint history.
That was the reason he was appointed?
Oh, please. His government was drenched in all of these corruption cases. At the point, nobody even want to even see eye to them because of these corruption matters. He had to appoint somebody. And then you know what happened? The corruption advisor was asked a hypothetical question about some acts he initiated. And the corruption advisor faulted him in the matter of the Kanazue, Ford bribery scandal. That's besides the point. You see? So when I see today NDC talking about corruption, you know why trust in political leadership is waning by every minute? It's because of some of these things. Politicians. How can John Dramani Mahama, an appendage of John Dramani Mahama, sit anywhere and open their mouth to talk about corruption? John Dramani Mahama.
Okay, go on the TUC issue, and then
please.
We've got some comments. We'll read those comments
on
as well.
TUC. See, Labour, when it comes on these matters, you have no other option than to empathize with them, and I do it with the greatest of respect, because nobody can lose sight of the situation we have on the globe today, all over the world. And just as everybody has said everywhere, what we are experiencing today in the world is the nature has not been seen in 100 years. Never in 100 years, at no point has the world seen this magnitude of a tragedy. A pandemic that shuts the entire world out, and then right on the heels of healing from the pandemic, you get a COVID-Russia war that creates a lot of problem on the international space. It's never happened. It's affected every facet of our lives as a people. And some of the very fierce fallouts from these things are what we are experiencing. So I agree. I agree with the reaction of Labour that these taxes on electricity tariffs, it's not something you expect them to welcome. But then you ask, how we come catch here? Where we go come catch here? That's the question. And government has told you that these tariffs have to be introduced because we are unable to pay independent power producers. Independent power producers, I don't know, when we mention independent power producers, you know what I'm talking about. They take or pay power contracts that John Dramani Mahama signed. And sometimes I get surprised. I get surprised when I see his people, the confidence with which they come and then dramatize these matters. A nation...
Is that the reason why you've been put to manage
I'm coming. So you are listening. You are listening. You see, what is happening today in the energy sector vindicates Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia. When you told us that power and its issues, it's not about generation capacity. Never has the problem of power and electricity production been an issue with generational capacity. It's always been a state of finance. It's been a financial issue all through. And you are seeing it. That today,
generational capacity doesn't play a role?
Never has our generational capacity or our peak demand been more than our generational capacity. Never. In the wake of our blues over power. At no point. In 2012, when John Dramani Mahama stood in Tamale at that famous presidential debate and then was talking about doomsday matters, what reason did he ascribe for what was happening? He said a ship's anchor had hit what do you call it? The gas pipeline. You understand? So it means the ship's anchor has disrupted the gas supply. So immediately gas is restored. The problems will be over. Gas was restored. What happened? We did not have enough funds to find alternative sources of fuel for those mini plants we had built. And his best solution was to add on more plants under very funny arrangements in the name of take or pay. And today we are paying over 500 million every year for power we are not using. 500 million every year. So when all of these IPPs come threatening that if you do not pay us our debts, we are going to put your power off. What do you do as a government? For all of these years, we've been able to survive these huge burdens John Mahama and the NDC put on the neck and put on the back of these governments. We've survived it. That is why our lights have been on all these years. You understand? But it is getting to a point where in the face of these global issues, in the face of all of these global challenges, you are compelled to take some very drastic decisions. And that is where Labour...
That's what we've got into right now.
That's
in the statement, the boss actually stated that there's too much pressure on the people already.
There is.
Still put
there
some
is.
more pressure.
There is. I told you, there's too much pressure. But as you can see, government has rolled out very concrete measures to ease the pressures on the people. You can see from the economic policies and all of whatnot that we are introducing. Inflation is easing. The policies are working. The various interventions we've put in place in all of the sectors of our economy, they are working. They are yielding results. But then again, you cannot toy with the energy sector. That was the biggest mistake of John Dramani Mahama. He thought he could play politics with power, with energy.
So this 15% is the panacea for the problems you see?
Hopefully one of them. You see, the point is, we should start from somewhere as a people. And I don't like politicizing some of these matters. Because in the end, I'll suffer it. The average person down there will suffer it. So I don't do the usual political chess with these matters of people's survival.
Okay.
But like I said, how did we get here? You have a government that put us in a terrible power crisis for 4 years. And the solution was use it as a means to fleece the taxpayer, to make more money, enter a hudious contract with independent power producers who are sitting in Arabia, sitting in yachts, drinking wine. Yeah, the monies we pay them. If you know the companies that own some of these, power producing arrangement, you'll be surprised. And that's what John Mahama did.
Okay. Thanks, Stalin. Now let me get to the other.
KMJ.
What happened?
I mean, it's quite interesting when I hear K speak. And it's only natural that he feels the way he feels, you know. And it's okay, you know. See, whether you go up and come down, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo plus Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, if you put all the achievements together with all the monies that they have received, they still come nowhere close to John Dramani Mahama. KMJ, it is not the amount of money you receive. It is to even have the wisdom to be able to put those monies to better use. That is what is required. I've always told you this. And he says John Dramani Mahama, the most corrupt person, the most... This is what they've said. This is what they said about Nkrumah. They said Nkrumah had taken close about 200...
Please don't mention...
Oh, please.
Don't do that. Don't put them in the
Why are you...
And then go on.
No, but like, you have to go to order, you know? Like, they said Nkrumah has taken close to about 240 million euros or pounds. This is how much money he's borrowed. And for that matter, he needed to be overthrown. What didn't they say? And it's been how many years? What have you done? John Dramani Mahama is still working. His office is still there. Arrest him. Take him to court. Prosecute. Jail him.
You are here saying this.
No, jail him. You said when you come to power, you will deal with it.
This.
Deal with him. Arrest him. He's walking free. John Mahama.
You should go arrest him. A field political. Finish. You finish.
Go on.
KMJ, look. Then he goes to talk about Ford. The Ford is in Flagstaff House.
Oh, please.
Government pool. You are using it.
Please.
You are using it. COVID. He says COVID. It's the most pathetic thing they actually make references to. You have received in excess of 30 billion. I always say this thing, 30 billion. Your finance minister comes to parliament, comes to tell the people of Ghana that out of the 30 billion we got, we used 12 billion for COVID. Listen, you have a problem. There's a situation. You need money to solve it. The world comes to give you 30 billion. You used 12 billion to solve COVID. You had 18 billion extra, which your finance minister said to the people of Ghana that we used it for what? For budget support. You are still shouting. Even after that, you charge that, please. Even after that, you charge that what is called COVID levy. We are still paying. We are still paying for COVID levy. After getting 18 billion profit, you still charge that COVID levy and we are still paying. How wicked can you be? How extremely, wicked can you be? This is what it is. ECG, it is your lack of wisdom, it is your lack of management that has brought us where he has brought us. You have a vice president sitting in the office who sits down and fraudulently changes a condition precedent to a condition subsequent. So much such that he says, even bank guarantee you're supposed to provide for PDS to take over ECG, you said they can bring an insurance guarantee when it's supposed to be a bank guarantee. You waived all this.
Look, I can imagine.
200 million of ECG's money gone. And we're in this mess. And you come back and you want to charge us 15% after the vice president fraudulently, sitting down and supervising this. You want to take out 15%. 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 trillion is what you've received. What will 15% do for you? What would it do for you? You're in excesses of over 600 billion in terms of loans. Let's even say it's 500, KMG. Let's even say the amount that you receive in terms of revenue, which is 830. Let's even say that one too is just 700. Add 700 to 500, how much is that? 1.2 trillion. I'm still sitting here shouting. 1.2 trillion what? Can you please?
But what have we done wrong in the previous times that I've gotten us to where we are right now?
KMG.
Because
okay.
the issue of light and doom so it's not just a situation we're experiencing now.
I'll give you an answer.
We had doom so we're back into it and all of that.
This is time. No problem. He sits here and talks about the fact that we owe money, and we do this, and ECGs, blah blah blah. KMJ, when we had the problem, I always indicate that in 2013, the reports that came out from the Energy Commission indicated that 3 problems needed to be solved, or else Ghana would be in a mess. One was capacity, one was the issue of funding, one was the issue of fueling. Before we left power, all these issues were dealt with. The issue of giving you fuel. That is when ENI came into place. That is when, Sankofa came into play. Mm-hmm. And then we gave you what you call the Atuabo gas in order for it to be able to process. For this matter, we decided to change some of the plants to be able to do dual. Take diesel and then be able to take gas. This is what we did. When it comes to the issue of funding, we gave you ESLA, Energy Sector Levy Act. Before we left power, you had 500 million in ESLA. In fact, in 2017, ESLA alone gave you 3 billion Ghana cedis. ESLA, in 2017 alone, 3 billion, that is what he gave you. What did you do? You collateralized that one too. You collateralized it and collected money and spent it. You go and dump 50 million in just this useless cathedral, biggest hole in the world. You're paying FML almost 20 million or how many $1 million, you know, on a monthly basis or on a yearly basis. What is wrong with you? And then you sit here and you make noise. 1.2 trillion. John Mahama didn't get anywhere close to 400 million. You're still sitting here and shouting. What have you built? What have you added? Give me one capacity. Which capacity have you added to our initial capacity? Your minister, Mesa, sits on TV and says that, true, he admits that they have not added, but it is take or pay. Take or pay.
But you left enough for them.
We left. Look,
excess.
You left enough for them.
KMG.
So why would there be the need to have
ask him to add? That's what I'm saying. Listen. Oh,
Stanley, let him finish.
My brother, you're sitting here, you're making noise. You're saying that it is not an issue of capacity. You say it is an issue of money.
Yeah.
I'm saying no problem.
Because there's enough
KMG,
capacity.
no problem. Are you aware of the fact that Ameri, as we speak, is not producing? Are you aware?
What happened to America?
There's no diesel. There's no fuel. There's no gas.
When there's no diesel, you use lights.
There's no gas. You know, that's the reality. The truth of the matter is that even at Wab, you owe close to 2 billion.
Yes, it's financial.
Financial.
It's still the same funding issue.
That's what I'm talking about. So
So does that justify the 15%?
Why?
It justifies.
This is totally.
So Adele, no, I'm asking.
Call him to order. It's unacceptable.
No,
you can't
he's
do
not going to interject. Stalin, stop. Adele, so this justifies the 15% then? If it's funding.
How is that? How is that? After wasting the resources, you come and charge us to pay? Why should we pay? That is what I'm telling you. They are insensitive. They are wicked. You've received 1.2 trillion. You've wasted it. People like Sister Rapa have over $1.something million lying in their rooms. And you're telling us to pay 50%. Why should we pay 50%? On what basis? Why should I pay? Look, we support them 100%. Nobody is paying that amount of money. We will charge into the streets. We will do what we have to do. We are not paying. It is basic. It's simple. You have a vice president sit down and do these dubious things over PDS. 200 million is gone, and you're sitting here and tell us to pay 50%.
200 million is gone.
On what basis?
All right, let me try and get some comments. Can you help me with okay, so there you go. Let me see what we have from our viewers as well today. Okay, so NDC is the poor government we have ever seen. Dr. Baumia is best man we Ghanaians need. This one says, good morning, Mr. Host. Tell the NDC man he has deviated from what Malema said. I like the submission of the NPP man on the selfish JDM. Voting in Nana Kwame Bediako Freedom Jacob Caesar coming December is the only option we, the youth of Ghana, have now. The new force, Arise Ghana, change is coming. Okay, so it looks like people are making decisions already. Yeah, and kindly add your names to the messages you sent to us and where you're sending them from as well. Ask the NPP man not to be deceiving the good people of Ghana. If measures are being put in place to relieve Ghanaians of the current hardship and they keep introducing new taxes, is it also a measure to relieve us? We are not kids in this country. Richard inside Papa sent in that one. This one says, good morning, Joy Prime. Master is the NPP man deaf. This MPP regime communicators need rehab because they say whatever come to their mind, but not what is on the ground. A smart inside Bagro Eastern region sent in that one. This one says that, good morning, KMJ, please, what is this NPP guy saying? Well, the youth knows best now, and we regretted voting this incompetent, corrupt NPP government. Massa, you don't even know what you're saying. KMJ, this NPP talk like we Ghanaians don't have sense. And it's like they are the ones controlling our minds. KMJ, please ask the NPP man to shut. Why is he always uncomfortable if the NDC man is talking? He was very quiet. When you were talking, why do you always interject? Stalin, this is for you. The viewers are actually watching, so yeah. KMJ, what is this NPP communicator saying? We saw in the announced video the president taking the brown envelope, being in Yantechi's pocket. He's mentioned in the gold mafia syndicate, and he says what? Was it not the president who bloated the Ameri deal by whooping $800 million and said he was misled? Please, this super incompetent government must just be thrown into the sea with all the annoyance from my Uncle Johnny in Elmina, sent in that one. Good morning to you and your panelists, especially Mr. Adele. Kindly control the NPP guy and allow Mr. Adele to educate the Ghanaians. Okay, the viewers will come for you, Stallion, today. Good morning, Mr. Host and your panelists. What is the NDC man saying about our able regional chairman of Ashanti region? I am sure he's only finding a way. Okay, so I guess this was yesterday. Please ask the National Democratic Congress representative that of what sense does it make when they say they left enough power in storage for the new patriotic party after a lot of businesses collapsed under the watch of the president at the time. They should just accept and give the devil his due. Nathaniel from Lambusi sent in that one. Okay. This one says the current MPP government has burdened every Ghanaian with suffering. The children's vaccination, youth unemployment, and wicked of it all is the pensioners' haircut. Albert in Kojokrom Sikado Kachan sending that one. This one says, we're tired of NDC, NPP. Freedom is coming. The new force. Okay, we're getting there. we're getting there. Okay, this is a very long one. Good morning, KMJ. This morning, I believe you now understand why Ghana's economy is in this state after listening to the NPP man over there. What is the productivity of Ghana Immigration Services? President upon president who were more educated than Nana Akufo-Addo ruled Ghana with 200 immigration officers under clean and transparent recruitment circumstances. Today, you sell recruitment for 15,000 and continue to recruit over 7,000 people who don't do anything but sit around and stand around but get paid. Why is the NPP the only government crying for haircuts on loans and have run down the economy to junk economy? How did they spend the loans they went for? Why are they unable to service our debt? How did they stoop so low to print in excess of our over 80 billion Ghana cedis? Have we not seen from the auditor's report how wickedly they shared the COVID money? How shameful the AG criticized the auditor for making the report public? NPP is also shameless and blazingly displayed total ignorance when confronted with facts. If Ghana's power issues were about gas and the gas was available, why then was the Ghana Gas established? How much are they owing Ghana Gas, WAPCO, and IPPS? Okay, so you rather came for all of them, but you didn't add your name to it. Next time, please add your name and where you're testing from. You asked for the short. Well, we'll get there. IB Tumu says, good morning to you and the panel members. Did the NPP members say they can jail any member for attempting to defraud the nation? Wow, Ghana. Okay. Good morning, KMJ. Why is it that these NPP members and their government always saying about COVID-19 and Russia-Ukraine war is cause of their problems? Where's the money World Bank gave to this government? Ampada from Asaman Kese. Good morning. I'm an exponent from Bolga. John Mahama is never corrupt. The NPP should wait and see what will happen to them in terms of corruption. Corruption is of their best policy in their government. Okay. Good morning. How can you budget $25 million to win $7 million if you are not... where can this happen in the world if not Ghana, led by... who think we try and be a bit civil with your messages. Have brains in our hairs. Just listen to the NPP... MPP. I'm Emmanuel from Kutubabi. Emmanuel, his name is Stallion. Okay. Good morning, KMG. The MPP guy knows nothing. Ask him at the time he finished school, what was he doing then? Tell him if NDC comes to power, he would be mess. Wow. I know him very well because MPP gives him something. See what he's saying. Does he know how many people? Where do you know him from? The video you played shows the NPP guy is just like Dr. Baumia. Good morning, host. What criteria do you use to select people to speak on your platform? I think you ought to invite people with wisdom in Solomonic sense. Not okay. I don't want us to go to that level. Make your points, make your comments without getting into all of that. Good morning, Mr. Host. Is this NPP guy, you think we are Mumu? Okay, you are not Mumu. I know you are not. Good morning, Kay. Nanaba Umia, a disaster to our dear nation, from taxation to production regime, reckless borrowing, thievery, and unnecessary expenditure. Thanks, killing poor Ghanaians from Nanajedu, Drobo, German South. Let me go to this one. Good morning. Please kindly tell the NPP man to discipline himself there. It's instructive to know that NPP is the most corrupt and deceitful party in the history of Ghana. Kindly inform him that we are tired of them. They do not have anything to offer us again. From production to taxation, NPP never again. Okay. Thanks to the NDC man in the studio, Ghanaians are wide awake and we shall vote against NPP big time come December 7, 2024. Kalim from Breman Esiem, NDC all the way. Okay, so good morning to you all. Please let the NPP man know that this government has failed totally. They don't have anything to offer us again. 24-hour economy is awaiting Ghanaians, inshallah. Chaza constituency for Honorable Samuel Owusu-Braku, NDC, PC, and JDM. Mohammed Zinel Abdin sent in that one. KMJ, good morning. The NPP guy is tickling himself and at the same time laughing. Did he listen to Malema say this current regime has totally failed Ghanaians? No wonder President Mahama said review means cancelled NPP. Mavitowo Salom from Sohum sent in that one. Okay, I think that will be pretty much the messages. We have got some more coming up on the other side. If I have time, let me see if I can run through them quickly. Good morning, Mr. Host. Good morning to you too as well. Good morning, KMJ. In fact, the NPP guys have spoiled my day. I was expecting a strong argument that can convince Ghanaians, but so low blows and lies. Kofi Dadze says, anyway, whose pocket? Why are you deleting what you just said? Okay, so this one says, we know what Mahama can do. Baumia is Mutakilu from one sent in that. This one says, hey, Alaji Hamza, why? You don't give me breakfast, Alaji Hamza. Stop this play. Are you playing? Alaji Hamza breakfast says, good morning, my brother KFJ. You heard Julius Malema clearly. According to him, our country currently is going down simple because of corruption by this government. Please tell the NPP guy in your studio to stop insulting our intelligence and credit Ghanaians with the little respect we deserve. Look, we are where we are today as a nation simply because functionaries of this government, they always feel they know it all. What has the speech of Malema got to do with President Mahama? Any young guy in the NPP today wants to attack President Mahama to catch the eye of the president. KMJ, I can assure you, if this unnecessary attacks on President Mahama does not stop, we will be compelled to respond in equal manner. They always feel they are the only political party mandated by God to govern this country and no one else. KMJ, I will advise the NPP guy to go and read the book entitled Dark Days in Ghana, written by Nkrumah, and he will cry for this nation. Please read I just did, actually. In fact, I read all of my book. Brenda, he will not make it short. You already know this guy. So let's just do what we have to do for him. NPP people are still talking. I don't even know what to say. Okay, so maybe the very last one, and then we'll continue. Good morning. NPP is a wicked party from rich general inside our table. That's Dr. Thea sent in that one. Okay, so do we have some other messages on Facebook? Let me try and get to Facebook and see what we have over there as well. So I says, good morning, KMJ. We need people to come there with strong arguments, not laughing. Okay, I'm still trying to, read some. Okay, what do we have? The Facebook message. Okay. Let me see what I can find over here. Okay, let me go back. Okay, so let me go to some of the messages. All right. No, whilst I'm trying to get this, let me engage, and then I'll try and get the messages. Let's move on to the next conversation. Okay. So we'll do the Zongo. The Black Star issue will be the last one we'll talk about today, and then we'll wrap up with it. I'm sure you have your own, comments on that as well. So let's get to the Zongo issue. So there's this mini rallies that is going on in the Zongo community, and it's basically to play videos of what exactly the NPP has done. Dr. Baumia has said over the period, in office, as against what the NDC are likely to be doing when they are voted into power. And so want to take a look at that this morning. Adele, it's coming from your stables. What exactly are we doing with this?
KMJ, it's actually basic. The project, which is started by a group, it's a group that labels itself as Nsakai.
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 And it means what?
Nsakai.
Nsakai.
Nsakai, yeah. Nsakai basically means that volunteers.
Okay.
So Nsakai pretty much in Hausa is like those who volunteer. So volunteer. Now, this group decided to do something unique. And what they're doing, and I've been a part of the project, you know, to a certain extent. The first project also was done the Saturday that just passed at East Hassel. What we did was basic. We just played the videos of Nkrumah after his overthrow and the sacrifices that he's done and the things that the MPP as a government, you know, back then in the UP tradition, what they had said about President Nkrumah. We started with Nkrumah, and then we entered into the lies and deception of His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo and Bawumia. The lies, the deception, you know, and when I say the lies and deception, it's just basic. It's the way they come at you, KMJ. They come at you with a very gentle face. He comes to you and tells you, oh, we're going to do free SHS. All you need, they will hear and say, "Obefa bag, no go school." All you need is just carry your bag and get to the classroom. When you get there, everything is taken care of. Today, people, over 22,000 people are sitting at home because they don't have what it takes to buy stuff just to go to school. So we start with the lies, the deception of His Excellency Bawumia, and then the lies and deception of His Excellency, the current President Nana Akufo-Addo. Once we did that of, Bawumia and the likes, then we came into the issues of the NDC, where the NDC was brought out from, where the PNDC started, why the coup took place, how the people were involved into going, Rawlings himself in the gutters, in the midst of the people, you know, fixing railways, you know, teaching people how to use grinders and the likes. We did that with the people. We climaxed the program with two things. John Dramani Mahama, 2012 to 2016, the things that he had done for the people of Ghana, just to give the people a reminder of where we're coming from, the amount of money he received and how he was able to manage that amount of money. John Dramani Mahama is a typical example of what you call the village wife. You give her 10 Ghana cedis. You give her 10 Ghana cedis. She enters inside, you know, she enters inside the farm. She finds some tomatoes, onions, comes in here, comes and puts up some food. And then when you eat it, you're thinking to yourself, wow, this is a real meat. Not the kind of wife that you give her, 1,000 Ghana cedis. She buys all the meat, buys all the chicken, still comes to cook and it's a problem. The little that the NDC had, what John Dramani Mahama had, what he basically used for it. And then we climaxed with the member of parliament for that sitting constituency and what he has also done for the community. It was a beautiful place. The program, which was actually programmed to have started around 8 p.m., delayed. And it started somewhere around 9:30. It was amazing how people were still sitting at 9:30 p.m. 11:30 p.m., the program ended at 11:30 p.m. People were still enthused and willing and ready to sit down and listen. It was a beautiful scene. Over 400 to 500 people coming out to listen till almost 11:30 p.m. Old women and men sitting in front seats and just waiting to just watch. It was just beautiful. And this is a group of volunteers just doing what they can do to support. As time goes on, the party would carry its own message. This is an election year. KMJ, I indicated this to you some weeks back. I said on the 20th, we are starting with Dr. Bawumia. We're doing projectors, we're doing screens. We're not going to go say something for Kate to say, even when they are listening, even when he's listening, he says it's a lie. We're not going to say something for you to say it's not true. We're playing the voice for you to listen, and then we analyze what it is that he has said, and then we compare him to John Dramani Mahama. It's just basic.
But why are we starting the Zongo community? Is this something we're going to go beyond the Zongo community?
So, this particular group,
they're focused on the
Zongo community. Their interest is the Zongo community. We're going into the Zongo community, we're talking to people, we're reminding them of how our fathers and how our mothers struggled. We're reminding them of the struggles that the PNDC undertook to stabilize this country. We're reminding them that everything Muslim, everything that has supported the Muslim community was the MPP. And what's the NDC?
Thank you very much.
You understand what I'm saying? What's the NDC? And the reason why is because right from the time of Rawlings, right from the holidays, right from John Dramani Mahama, even as we speak, we're promising extra holidays, right from the time of putting up the Hajj village. And I saw Dr. Bawumia in 2017 excited about what he saw at the Hajj village. Right from the Hajj village, right from the airport at Tamale, right from when the issues of LGBT came, when John Dramani Mahama spoke and said that the Muslim community and the Christian community doesn't accept this. Till today, the Vice President has not found his voice to talk about what is the issues of LGBTQ. When the issues of hijab came, the person that they said does not like the Muslim, the person that they said doesn't want the Muslim, John Dramani Mahama, he spoke. When the issues of the girls without a hijab came, he spoke. So this is basically what we're saying. We're saying that when you put John Dramani Mahama on any level with His Excellency Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, even when we come to the issues of religion, John Dramani Mahama is the one that his sword cuts both. He cares for everybody, whether Muslim, whether Christian, whether traditional. He does everybody. We haven't seen His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia represent that and represent the Muslim community. You know, in some occasions they say, oh, we want him to. He went to Fadama here, and told the chief imam that he is going to break up his existing school. It's been 3 years. The school was broken down. It has not been rebuilt. It has not been completed. 3 years. Yes, he had 800 million to go and use for elections. So we're telling the people, we're reminding them, look, if there's any one person who is closer to the Muslims, who is closer to the Christians, it is John Dramani Mahama, and then nothing else, nothing more, nothing less.
Does this scare the NPP?
I am surprised we are discussing this here, foremost. But then again,
well, it's of interest to national development. If the elections we're going to have is,
I'm sure you are surprised
something you want to look
that today NDC would have to mount screens in Zongos to send their message across. You see, every propaganda arrangement has a lifeline.
How different is that from the billboards that the NPP put up in elections period?
Every propaganda arrangement has a lifeline. You know why? Because the NDC had always gone to Zongos. I told you I was born in Accra, Newtown, so I understand what is happening very well. I went to Golden Mission International School, right here, lived as a Zongo, so I understand this style. The oxygen to the NDC's politics has always been tribal and religious incitements. Tribal, religious incitements. So you see, John Dramani Mahama, very modern, contemporary leader, would go up north and tell the people in the north that never would Muhammadu Bawumia be elected leader of the MPP because he's a northerner. Dangerous tribal incitement. He goes to stand there in the north in an election and makes this remark. What you are seeing there in the Zongos is only a panic reaction because what they never thought was a possibility. You see the propaganda that they had drummed in the minds of people. NPP is anti-Zongo. NPP is anti-Muslim. NPP is anti-Northern. Right in their faces. It's falling like a pack of cards. November 4th, you saw the overwhelming endorsement we gave by me. And for me, that singular act by a party has told me here that regardless of where you were born, your tribe, your religion, whatever backgrounds you are from, in the MPP, if you are ready to make good of what God puts deep inside you and not look down on yourself, we are not so much interested in what your name is. It's what you can contribute to. That is what we showed on November 4th with the election of Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia. That is what has sent panic waves in their ranks. And today they've mounted propaganda screens in the Zongos, trying to win back the love of people. I can tell you, let me tell you something. You can take away the feelings, you can muddy them, but you cannot take away anybody's sense of imagination and thinking. You might think you are positioned, you are privileged, you are Mahama. You were born in the home of the first Northern regional minister. That is where he was born. And he has the effort to talk about LGBT. Gracious God again. You see, these people, if it hadn't been for God and it hadn't been for the fact that we are peace-loving people, I don't know why they can have the energy to come and sit here and talk about these matters. John Mahama is talking about LGBT and typical propaganda fashion. You are a man who said your biggest political idol was Professor Mills. The man passes on 24th July 2012. And right after, you board a plane to America to go and launch a book with the title, My First Coup d'etat. Which coup did you execute? And again, to make matters worse, to insult the memory.
He doesn't have the right to launch his own book.
I'm coming. Let me tell you, if you believe in symbols and tokens, you understand where I'm coming to. To insult the memory of a man you claim was your biggest political icon. You go and launch the book with a renowned gay rights activist, Andrew Solomon. This happened here in 2013, right after he became president, on the back of a man, the death of a man he claimed was his biggest idol. This is the title you give to a book, a very suggestive title, my first coup d'etat. Then you don't even launch it in Ghana. You go to New York, go and call a renowned and internationally acclaimed gay rights activist, Andrew Solomon, sit and launch this book. And I told you, if you believe in symbols and tokens, you understand the message John Mahama was conveying. That is why I said, we are very much a peace-loving people. We are very much a people who believe that God rules in the affairs of men. If not for that, John Mahama should not be thinking about, and you are still talking about LGBT. That singular act, using the memory and identity of a president you claim you revere to promote homosexuality. That for me,
that was the intention?
Very much intentional. You know how this community is
speaking to Solomon alone is an intention.
No, and let me tell you the fallout. When the matter came up for public scrutiny, and you see, truth is important in public life. Maybe on this platform, I'll tell you my position on homosexuality. I'll tell you. Our culture, our religion, our axioms and systems will never accept homosexuality. But then again, the human dignity of people in these acts should never be sacrificed on the altar of cheap populism and politics. You understand? So that is our position. But when people try and play political chess with distance, you ask us, where are we going? John Dramani Mahama, today you are telling us we cannot even state our position on, has he ever stated any position on LGBT? He cannot, because his friend is Andrew Solomon, who he launched my first coup d'etat with. And I've told you about signs and tokens. You go and sit in New York on the back of the death of a man you claim you revere, and you launch a book titled My First Coup d'etat with a renowned gay activist. When the matter comes up in the public, you deny, your spokesperson, Mahama Yariga, comes out to deny that President Mahama does not know Andrew Solomon. Listen, and then Andrew Solomon writes in response in an article. You know the title of the article? In bed with the President of Ghana. Christ me. What was more condescending and denigrating than you allowing somebody who is noted for gay rights activists to put out an article with this title? In bed, you can Google it, read about it. In bed with the President of Ghana, written by Andrew Solomon. Renowned, I've told you my position on this homosexuality.
It could be literal.
Fantastic. I understand it's literal. But then when these elements mount these moral high grounds and rooftops to come and pontificate on these matters, then you are forced to ask them, are you not playing politics? Are you not playing cheap partisan politics? The effrontery to talk about.
Okay.
Your position on LGBT. You know something?
Yeah, and let me read some
messages. It's in the same style and fashion that these people have always sought to toy with the emotions on very pertinent national issues. So, Sam George, who sponsored the bill on homosexuality, and for him, the youth of this country are looking up to him. You represent Ningo Pram Pram. You represent one of the most challenged parts of our country. And you go to parliament. I wasn't surprised when I heard him, Sam George, in opposition, telling us that media people who are discussing LGBT are wasting time. I don't know if you've seen that video. You saw how he looked. So the NDC have no principles.
Okay.
Let me finish.
No, we don't have time, so.
Well, let me wrap up. They have no principles. All they do is political. You see what they are doing in the Zungus. Baumia has unsettled them. Baumia, you will never become flag bearer. Baumia, you are a Nodna. MPP people don't respect you. You've said that time and again. Me, born in Zungus. I've told you. The MPP does not have time for where you were born. We do not have time for whatever religious extraction you belong to. What we believe is what God put inside you as a
okay.
If you maximize that, you can become anything amongst us. Okay. Those are the ideals we ascribe.
Teacher Shamsu says, good morning to you and your able panelists. I'm watching you live from Mbanayeli. KMJ. Mr. Malema hits the nail on the head yesterday when he categorically stated that this government have woefully failed when it comes to the fight against corruption. The anti-Nkrumahs will not appreciate what he said, but it is what it is. And may God save us from wickedness of this government. My regards to my MP, Professor Hamza Adam of Kumbugu constituency. Ola Mensa says it is very surprising the NDC guy has the courage to talk about doom, so NDC will remain in opposition forever. Abigail Inyako says the NPP man really making sense, and I join Papa B says, good morning. Is the NDC guy not ashamed of what he's saying? Sylvia Ato says that Osei Stallion and Nana Adwa Inyako Papa B comes back and says the NPP guy is really intelligent. Thank you, my brother. Dada Lincoln Abraham says, good morning, boss. I bring you greetings from Ronnie Robert Kwesi, Nicole, the incoming for Nkrumah West constituency. And, okay, so there's a lot. These are messages from Facebook. Adele,
KMJ,
we're done.
We're wrapping up. No, let me just wrap it up.
30 seconds
30
for me.
No
We're done.
Eslo, he says tribal and religious issues. Eslo sat down in this country on TV and said, yeah, GMI. Yeah, we're taking our country back. Kind of like somebody is more Ghanaian than the others. And we know of what happened by the ambassador in South Africa. We know. If there is anybody who has played on religious politics, it is them. Even as we speak. You want to talk about John Dramani Mahama and LGBTQ. You had Esla, admittedly indicating that she's even a part of it. People, right from the time the bill hit Parliament, you were there sabotaging it. Consistently. You're sitting here and talking about what? LGBTQ. John Dramani Mahama has spoken on LGBTQ. Give me one voice from His Excellency, the Vice President, or His Excellency, Nana Akufo-Addo, speaking openly when he had an opportunity. Nana Akufo-Addo. At BBC, what did he say? He said, Emmanuel Swan, Ghana for say Ghanaians are not too sure whether to accept, but with time, it will come to happen. It is bound to happen. Bound to happen. That is certainties. That is he speaking to certainties. He said here and talk about LGBTQ. KMJ, to finalize my presentation, I'm saying that, listen, what we're doing in the Zongos are basic. That is why we're now going to take somebody sitting somewhere's voice. We're playing Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia's voice. If he spoke in English and he said, I believe that mobile money should not be taxed. If he says, I believe mobile money should not be taxed, it is English, it is broadful, you can read, you can understand, I can understand, Kay can understand. It is not for him to come and tell me that voice is not acceptable. It is there, everybody can read. What we do is to translate. Is that a problem for him?
Okay, very much. Let me say a big thank you to Adele and a big thank you to Stalin for coming this morning here on the show. Stalin is communication member for the NPP. Adele is national communications member for the NDC and also the director of operations for the youth wing here in Greater Accra. And the two of them made time for us this morning. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
That will be our conversation for News Flash here on the show today. We'll still have some more coming up. Many thanks to all of you who sent in your messages as well. We appreciate you. Sierra the Golden Girl is standing by with latest updates in trends, and also we've got some sports updates coming through as well. We understand that Chris Wheaton has been fired, and well, moving on the GFA, what exactly will happen to it? We've got some more updates on that coming up also here on the show, and a bit later we've got entertainment, which we're going to use to wrap up the entire conversation we're having here this morning on Prime Morning. All right, so continue to be with us, sending your messages and be a part of our incoming conversations. My name is KMJ. It's been News Flash. Stay with us.